I started the broadcast, it seemed black. Everybody's coming in at about a minute and a half.
Good morning, this is Sherman Crancer, Senior Partner Channel Development Manager for the Western United States. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We're live at the MTC studios and we are absolutely thrilled to talk about this today's program. So we're going to be talking about hosting your website in the Microsoft Azure App Service today. I think it's going to be a great show. We're going to kind of go into thought leadership first. We have an agenda that we're going to be covering. We're going to be then talking to our special guest, Eddie Bader from Company Built, just a great partner, MCC superstar. We're going to get into the package of the week first before we actually get into the content. Then we'll go into the websites, hosting them in Azure. Frequently asked questions in MCC, and then we'll go into the expectations of being a really great project lead gen partner, and then lastly we're going to get into some really awesome partner resources. So make sure that you stay to the end. It's going to be fantastic, and then we're going to talk a little bit about our next guest. Just to reiterate, we are today. Thank you so much for the change. I know we decided to do a little bit earlier, but they will moving forward always be from 1 to 2. Every Monday. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's think about some thought leadership first. And I think one of the very first things to think about here is how do we grow our business? How do we differentiate ourselves from the rest of the static out there? How are you going to be different? Now, we all know that video is really the next medium of communicating to your potential clients or current clients, and I'm always talking about using Office Mix or doing something, recording videos. But one of the big things that we should start talking about really is video testimonials. Now, I recently went to a partner conference that was done by a group that actually helps train partners, and they talked about video testimonials. But what I noticed, what I thought was just absolutely amazing, was I went to their website, and what did their website have? They had a call to action on their website, but what they had it full of testimonials that basically showed what their program was doing for their customers. And that is what is so important and amazing, because they really understand it. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about first. So the thought leadership, thought of the day really is about how do you differentiate yourself from your, other, static, competition, and elevate, your persona in the community, right? So let's talk about it. So videos is the new marketing tool, right? It's absolutely. Now, your testimonials need to have some sort of, intrinsic value, that talks about your company and whatnot. I think that there's a lot of people here that actually, have, some written referral letters so that they can send out. But imagine if you could call 3 or 4 of your best clients and say, hey, would you mind if we came down to your office and we just shot a quick, testimonial as to our business and what we are doing for you? Okay, then you take that content and you actually post it on your website. It is so important. Right under the call to action, you want to put it right where somebody can go ahead and play it. Very simple, very easy, because what happens, as we've talked about several times in the past, 60% of all business owners, according to the customer, journey, have already researched the actual product that they're looking to buy. And when they get to your website, they're ready to buy it. So what better way to help them, with their call to action, to get them to actually sign up for your service, but for them to see you in action, or some of your customers actually talking about how great you are. So what you need to do, and I think to start out, within this thought leadership scope, is one of the things I keep talking about is sales and marketing and revenue generating opportunities on a daily basis. So, I know that, you're not going to sit here and do your, 6 to 8 hours of sales and marketing every day like I'm talking about. But hey, let's focus on a couple things this week. Let's focus on getting at minimum 4 testimonials from your clients. Now, you can do clients, but then you can also do partners. You can also do people you work with or vendors. And that's where I think, one offer that I would like to go ahead and extend to you is what we want you to do is actually record a video testimonial on the impact that Project LeadGen and MCC has done for you, and send it over. Send it over to me. And then what I'd like to do for you is actually talk about your involvement in MCC and how we are really thrilled to be partnered with you as one of our representatives carrying our flag. Now we want you to take those videos and take the one that I'm going to shoot for you and put it up on your website, so that you can drive traffic and show that you actually are partnered and recognized, with not just your clients, but, with Microsoft. So that's my thought of the week. Go ahead and create 4 this week, or create just 1 for me, and I'll send you back 1 as well. So I'll spend the time and working for you as well. So, all right, let's move on. Let's get into the guest of the week. So this is super awesome. Eddie has been in the program for about a year now, and has been one of my stalwarts in MCC. And I'll tell you a quick story about Eddie. I met Eddie about a year ago, and I had an event that had come up, and I literally met him at the Irvine IAMCP chapter meeting. And we talked for a few minutes. I'm saying, hey, do you like this program? He goes, I want to get involved. And I said, Eddie, hey, today's, I think it was Thursday. We have an event tomorrow. And want to know if you want to present? It was at the SCORE chapter. And he's like, absolutely. He went there. He killed it. He did a great job. So look, Eddie Bader is a fantastic individual. Eddie, can you kind of just, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company and where you came from?
Sure. I'd be happy to. And thanks for having me today, Sherman. I really appreciate it. So my company is Company Built. I'm the general manager, and we're an MSP focusing on security and business continuity. I've been with this company for about 6 years now. And before that, I've worked in manufacturing, entertainment. I used to work for Disney. So I've had a lot of experience at enterprise level companies and small to mid-sized companies as well. And one of the things that I've learned by being part of MCC is that there's a genuine opportunity to present yourself to potential clients. And I think it's one of the most effective marketing tools that we as Microsoft partners have available to us. So if you haven't already engaged in the MCC program, I strongly suggest you do.
Thank you, Eddie. All right. So, the next thing is, let's ask Eddie some questions here, because Eddie's been in it. He's done it, a little bit differently than I have designed the program, but it is still very effective. And I think that the partners on this call should not look at this as just maybe, just events. I'm going to do 1,000 events, right? But look at it some different ways. So, Eddie, let me ask you a question. So, what do you see the most successful MCC partners doing on a daily, weekly, yearly basis?
Well, I'd say that the most successful partners are actually doing something. So you have to be out there. With this program, it's a number of touch points. If you're only going to do 1 or 2 a year, this might not be the program for you. But the people that I'm involved with, we do 1 to 2 a month, and we're trying to scale that up even more. So that's one thing that I would say that successful partners are doing. The other thing is that they are engaging with other partners in this ecosystem. So I never do an event alone. I always do it with at least one or two other partners, and they're partners that complement. So they don't necessarily do what I do, but they add value because they're experts in the field that they whether it's CRM or ERP or perhaps SharePoint or something, we collaborate together, we build the decks together, we do the presentations together, and I can tell you that it's a very effective way to deliver content, and it's actually, it's as good for the audience as it is for us because we can play off each other, we have different stories to tell, and it really makes for an effective presentation. And because we're leveraging more than one partner, so it's not just me or any of the other guys that work with, it's not just those individuals doing the work, we actually can scale much more rapidly, and we can do more than just a few events, a month. So that's where we're looking to expand right now with the guys that I'm working with.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I got so excited at the beginning with this whole, thought leadership thing. I forgot to mention, we have a Q&A section here, and Sam from Acumar is actually in the audience. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and put in there. Sam will raise his hand and let us know, because with the change in the format, we can't actually see the Q&A function of this. So Eddie, that's great, partnering for success. But let's change gears just a little bit here, and let's ask the question, on a sales and marketing front, what are you doing every day relating to that? Do you do it like 10 minutes a day, no minutes a day, 1 day a week? Help us understand how you're being successful.
Sure, I'd love to share that with you. And again, I would say the core of this goes back to what I said about what are the most successful MCC partners doing. And the fact is when it comes to sales and marketing, you have to do something. Regardless of what it is, you have to make sure that there's some kind of effort and that it's consistent. So even if you have a laundry list of items to do and you only get to one, just make sure you do it and do it every day. So I was thinking about this when you had asked me to come in and kind of talk about this today. And so I came up with something, and it's kind of cheesy, but hopefully it'll be something that you can remember. So think of it like this: something old, something new, and something blue. So when I'm talking about something old, this is what I'm talking about. We have a bunch of clients already, and we've engaged with them at different levels, but they're our best opportunity to increase our business because they know us, they've been working with us, they trust us. So it's always good, if you're not doing this already, to go back and do monthly or quarterly reviews, kind of understand where your client is, where they're going, what's changing about them, and figure out how you can support that. If you can expand your footprint with existing clients, it's an easy way to grow your business. So if you're not engaged in those regular reviews, by all means, do that. And you don't have to do that every day, but you should be trying to schedule something every day with them. And on the something new, we all have potential new clients. So outside of MCC efforts, we're doing some social media or some other marketing efforts, or maybe you have another intake of new clients, and I'm guessing that you probably haven't gotten to all of them. So take the time every day to at least connect with one of those new potential clients out there and schedule a meeting. Make sure you have the opportunity to get in front of them or share some kind of information. And remember, you don't have to necessarily sell. You wanna just keep yourself top of mind, so when they think of technology, they think of you. So share some thought leadership, provide some information, some education, and that goes a long way when people think of you and think of you as a resource. If you can get them to think of you as a resource, then you can get them to use you as one as well. So that's the something new part. And then the something blue is that I'm sure, like me, you have some clients or some potential clients that have just gone cold. So those are the blues. They've gone cold for whatever reason. We've talked to them and we went through part of the sales cycle, but we didn't close them, or for some reason they disengaged with us. So try and reconnect with those people, see where they are now. Maybe it's been 3 months, maybe it's been over a year, but reach out to those folks again. There's still opportunities for you. You should consider them as opportunities, and you should try and to develop that business as well. So those are my 3 things, and I think it's easy. Something old, something new, and something blue. It's just a real quick way to look at your business and the sales cycle as a whole and figure out where you can put some effort to.
That's great. Now, I challenge the partners here, not just one thing or two things or four. I challenge you to be remarkable. Every day you should be waking up and thinking, okay, how can I be remarkable today? How can I move faster or be more strategic, right? And that's why I think it's important to talk to people just like Eddie and these, partners that are really successful, is because it helps you understand what you need to do. But, being remarkable means that you're doing something better, quicker, faster, you're producing more, and it really comes around sales and marketing. If you want to, scale your business, you have to be out there. You have to be, out there, whether it's in in-person events or networking events, you got to have your antenna up, right? And so that you put yourself in that potential, place where, leads are coming to you. One time in the past, one of my colleagues that asked me in a different job said, "Well, Sherman, how do you get so lucky? You're always getting lucky. You're always getting these big deals. You're always over quota." And I told him, this has nothing to do with luck. I go, it can be perceived as luck, but what I'm doing is I'm creating my own lucky opportunities. And how am I doing that? Is because I am prospecting every single day. I am making sure that I've got something in mind that I'm trying to sell to increase the revenue, increase my bottom line, and that's how I was, becoming lucky. So let's go back to the partnering thing, Eddie. How are you partnering inside of MCC? I know you have like this cool kind of core group that you're working with. I know you're kind of expanding it and you're helping people, but explain it a little bit more so that maybe the partners can start forming their own, MCC groups regionally.
Sure. So we have identified a group of 7 partners. There's a little subcore of that we do a lot of events together. But essentially what we found is a group of partners that complement one another, and there's very little overlap between those 7. And so what we do is we collectively schedule events. So we find events to do, we come up with an idea or multiple ideas, and we try and get all those on the calendar, and then we divvy up the work based on availability, based on expertise. And really, we actually have a shared website that we drop collateral in, so images, our bios, presentation decks that we've done before, and really it becomes a place where any one of us can go and grab something real quick and utilize it. And typically, it's very easy because since we're all doing it typically together in those situations, it's easier for us to share information, and we really leverage everybody's time. So maybe today I don't have a lot of extra time, but maybe Manish, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Manish, and Eric Klaus and Brian Enuma. These guys I work with all the time, and we have a very good system in place. So somebody will be kind of the watchdog and make sure we have all our content ready to go and communicating to the association that we're working with. Getting all that information ready to go, promoting the event. Eric is wonderful with social media. In fact, most of my social media is done by Eric Klaus, so he's a great partner to work with, just so you know. And I thank you, Eric, for all your help. I really do appreciate it. The other thing is that we're friends, to be perfectly honest with you. We've gotten to know each other through working together, either through IAMCP or through MCC, and we've actually, there's a strong bond between us, and it really comes out when we work together. Again, I had mentioned this before, the audience can tell, they can pick up on the chemistry that's between us, and it really helps us deliver a great product. And we instill confidence in our audience that we know what we're talking about, and that if I don't have the answer, then one of the guys standing next to me does. And it's just it's a great way to leverage key people around you. And people want to work with people they like, and this is one thing that I've found is I've gotten to know a few of these partners really well. I do enjoy them. We do things, for fun outside of our work environment as well, and it just strengthens the relationship. So I would definitely recommend you going out there and finding the key partners that you have around you that can help you grow your business and really push this MCC program out.
That's awesome. That's some great feedback. And I once again, I challenge you partners to start forming your own groups. making friends and working with them. I know, Eddie, this is off script here, but
Sure.
you see opportunities because you've made friends. Really, you've formed this group and you do a lot of events together. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will tell you that, as far as impact and reach, I would say that MCC right now currently either closed within the last 3 to 6 months, or on the table. There's roughly north of $100,000 worth of business out there, and that's probably 70 to 80% generated from my involvement in this program. And it's not only doing events, but it's really connecting with those other partners, and they see me as the go-to resource for whatever piece that they don't do. That means a lot. I'm getting a lot of referrals from those partners, and I'm referring out as well. So we do events together, and when we get business cards, we actively tag team our marketing efforts towards them. So we don't get business cards and then make 4 copies and then we each go after them individually. We go after them collectively. And that's really a key difference, is that we are working everything together. We meet them together, we work them together, and it's a very clean system, and nobody feels threatened that anybody else is going to try and take a client from them. And these guys know how I feel about it. I don't care if I own the client or not. If I'm working and I'm getting paid, I'm pretty happy. So that's something to keep in mind. A really good working relationship with these guys is invaluable.
So let's go back to the impact. $100,000 in sales or in your funnel. Give us more clarity on what MCC and PLG has done for you business-wise.
Well, sure. I look at PLG, and Sherman, you've done a great job with this. You've taken the playbook and you've put it on steroids, for lack of a better term. You've really shown us all the steps that we need to take to be successful at this. The idea of one-to-many instead of one-to-one has kind of changed the way I look at things and the way I go after new business. So, and MCC kind of facilitates all the learnings from Project LeadGen. It's a conduit. It's one avenue to take that PLG playbook and make it work. So the way I use that is I try and do as many events as I can. I did one with Eric and Manish on Saturday. It was pretty successful. I got a lead out of that. And I can tell you that when I started, it wasn't like that. To be perfectly honest, it started off a little bit slower, but you have to be invested in the process, and you have to know that this is a long game. So you have to just keep going out there, and you have to keep doing it. And I will tell you that all of a sudden it'll just click, and then you're getting things on a regular basis, and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And it's no joke. I'm not exaggerating. Just one day after the first deal came through, then it was really more consistent after that. And the thing that I like about MCC is that there's a lot of people out there that do what we do, but the difference is us. Like me at Company Build, Manish at AdeptTech, Brian at SSG. Those individuals are what make that company unique. And through MCC, you have that opportunity to display that to potential clients. And I think that's one of the things that's invaluable, is that you separate yourself from everybody else who may send an email or a postcard. You're there face to face. They're seeing who you are. They're starting to build a relationship with you. And it really gives you the ability to connect with potential clients that literally nothing else does. And so that's the power of this program and power of MCC. And if you use what Sherman's laid out for us in PLG, it's almost, you just follow step by step and you'll be successful, but you have to do it. Consistency is key. So that's my other message for you as well.
Thanks, Eddie. Really appreciate that. Really do. Your thoughts are invaluable. So Eddie, we're going to be talking with Eddie through the program, and we have some more questions for him later. All right, so let's get into the next thing, package of the week. Okay, I love this part because, I think about, packages all the time. I'm always thinking about these things. And I thought, gosh, what a better way to help partners visualize something that's going to differentiate themselves from the competition. So let's get into it. So the package of the week, I named it Web Elite. Okay, and now, this kind of coincides with the topic that we're talking about today, right? Hosting the website in Microsoft Azure App Service. So the package that we call Web Elite, so it would start out with MSP Tier 1 services. We all know that the majority of the partners here are doing MSP services. So do the Tier 1. You can offload that to one of our distributors for them to do the triage. Now, I'm not saying that specific, Tier 1, a representative will be fixing anything. When I was a partner, I used it just more of a triage to make sure that my clients felt like they always had somebody that would answer the phone. And then you get into it. But you start off with one, MSP Tier 1 services. You can buy them for about, anywhere between $8 and $12 a month, and you charge around $20 or $30 a month per user. Then you go into Office 365 E3 edition. I think enough has been said about that, and that starts off at $20. You do get a margin on that when you're going through CSP, so you got to factor that into your overall net margin on this deal. Then you come up with the third piece, and this is where the differentiator is, okay? Because you don't want to be talking to your customer and just saying, hey, I'll give you web service and Office 365, because you know what happens? Another partner can come in and say, oh, hey, I can give you E3 and host your website, and I'll do it 20% cheaper than that person. So that's why this part is good. So we're going to talk about web hosting and security. So that's kind of how you would pitch this. So you want to set up and migration of their current website. So that's in the package. You want to set up and maintain enterprise mobility plus security. We do know 60% of SMB have a mobile workforce. So why don't you go ahead and throw that in there? Now you're securing their mobile environment. You're securing their actual network environment. You're also helping with their hosting of their website. Then you want to do a security assessment and assurance. And I think this is what can help differentiate yourself, because you can pitch this as, hey, we are going to help secure your environment. We'll do an assessment for you. We'll take a look at it. Totally different than what the other people are just pitching Office 365 for. Then you want to tie in email migration, and you can use anyone, Skykick or BitTitan to do that. And you can get that anywhere between, $20 and $40 or $50 a month per box, but you can charge $100. That's kind of the going rate right now, $100, per box, nice margin in there. And then what I would suggest is that you get them on Azure Active Directory. Get them on that two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, and you put them on, because as we've been mentioning for the past 7 weeks, that Azure is the gift that keeps on giving, where there's a 27% annual or compound annual growth rate. CAGR, right? 27%. So you just get them in, because what happens is you get them onto one thing, then you're talking about stores, then you're talking about disaster recovery, you're talking about hybrid infrastructure. So you get in with this package, and then lastly, number 4, the most important part is training. You're going to help train your clients on those products and services. So let me ask you a question, Eddie. I know this is off script too, but training. When you onboard a customer, do you provide training like on Office 365 and like show them all the cool features and different things that are going on? And has that been impactful?
The answer to both is yes and yes. Okay. Yes, we do the training, and yes, it's been impactful. I think the thing to keep in mind is it's very easy to deliver Office 365 and then just leave it there, because we assume that everybody knows how to use it. Everybody knows Excel and Word and PowerPoint. But if you can leave them with something extra, maybe show them how the collaboration between the tools works. Maybe show them OneDrive or SharePoint or something about Office 365 that they hadn't used before. OneNote is a huge application. Usually everybody that tries it loves it. But if you just deliver it and don't show them that, they might not find that on their own. So I think training is really important, because it increases usage. And if they're happy with the product, they'll tend to use it more. And if they use it more, then I think it has a ripple effect on how they perceive you, because you delivered a solution, you just didn't deliver a piece of software. And I think that's the difference, is if we position ourselves as solution providers and enablers of technology, then we really differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. And I think that's really important. So training should be close to the top of your list if it's not already.
That's great. Because you want to cross-sell and you want to upsell. That's what's important. Cross-sell, upsell. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you come in and show them what you know. The whole concept behind Project LeadGen and Microsoft Community Connections is raising your level, right, of perception, right, within the business community. And that coincides with your current business when you do something, because you don't want to just sell Office 365 and leave, because you're leaving so much potential income and revenue considering everything's moving to the cloud one way or the other. If you're not selling it to them, if you're not talking to them about all these other features, or if you're not packaging something else that will lead you to a cross-sell and upsell opportunity, you're leaving money on the table, as well as there's going to be another partner out there that says, hey, have you thought about this? And that's what I think this helps signify. All right, so let's get into the meat of it. Hosting, your website in Microsoft Azure App Service. A lot of us probably don't even know this exists. I would imagine even our special guest didn't know. I didn't know last week, and it was very interesting. A part of Azure. So we always kind of, throw up the main slide here. Obviously, it's way too busy. I'm not going to go into here, but we'll break it down. We're going to break it down into the customer, the market, and the partner opportunities to kind of help you understand. And the first one really is all about, customer needs. And so these are the psychological triggers that the customer is thinking about, right? These are the things that are going to help you, provide services. So we know one thing is that most businesses have been hosting their websites, with a lot of, the providers out there, with GoDaddy and Yahoo and all these different providers, right? It's been kind of a norm. It's become easy. Most of the public probably even thinks that, hey, it is. That's where I'm supposed to go, right? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to go to Yahoo and host it there, right? But what you probably didn't know is that you can actually host their websites in Azure. You can start actually with your own in Azure as part of your credits, right, that we provide you. But I think the change here, okay, is that the customer wants more, and the customer doesn't want to have 14 different vendors, right? I mean, I can remember having to try to find out, oh my gosh, I haven't touched the website in a long time. Who's hosting it? Who's got what? Where's my email going to? And the passwords, right? And trying to, oh geez, that was probably a time that I don't even want to think about anymore. It gives me a headache. But that's what the customer's thinking. Okay, let's do that. So as a partner, you could probably help them along with that. They're looking for a reliable way. What better way to have them on our Azure app platform that has 119 data center regions and over 100 data centers globally. They're looking to quickly design in their build, a very easy scenario, easy GUI, graphic user interface, and Azure App Service actually has that. And then they want to be able to have the capabilities to link the front end with the background experience and database processing. So linking that into CRM, linking that into SharePoint, linking that into Dynamics 365 financials. Wow, now you're really helping the customer out. Now this is your big differentiator. The customer has their website on somebody else's domain, or somebody else is hosting it, right? But if you host it, now you could tie it into all the Office 365 products that we have, and you can show them how powerful things can be. You could tie it into Power BI. What a better way? Rich visual context, right? Rich visual ways to understand that. And then they want to be able to migrate multi-tier applications with the web front end to be on the cloud. There's a lot of companies that actually host their websites actually on-prem, which is, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that. But they do. And you have an opportunity to say, hey, let's talk about disaster recovery. Let's talk about those things. So those are the customer needs, the psychological triggers. Those are the things the way that you can think about when you go into a customer and how they're thinking, and then how to position that, for your client. Next is the market opportunity. We talk about this. The cloud computing market will more than double by 2018 to $127 billion. IDC found that 81% of U.S. companies with 100 plus employees currently are using cloud-based applications. We talk about this every week. It's not one of it's going to happen. It has happened, and that's what we have to be excited about. So how do we get in there and ensure that our company is growing, right? 37% of U.S. small businesses have deployed cloud solutions, and over 28% plan to use the cloud moving forward. Now, a year ago, we were at a 15% adoption rate for Microsoft Office 365, right? And within 1 year, we're at a 20% adoption rate for Office 365. That's got to worry you and excite you at the same time. It is going quickly. It is growing so quick that you need to get in and start figuring out a way to get a part of that market, that recurring revenue that will be happening every single day, every single month. So let's talk. So that's really the opportunity, and really where the partner opportunity stems from is really leveraging the whole suite. I kind of talked about this in the beginning where the customer opportunity was, but really partner is, hey, let's bring their website from a provider that's just hosting it, bring it into Azure, you're providing it, but then you're tying that into all the different products and services, the cloud products and services that they're currently using. I mean, what a better way, and plus you can talk to them about disaster recovery, as well as, security, reliability, and also being able to buy and sell or consume what they need, right? So maybe they have an opportunity where their business is seasonal, right? And they know that they're going to have, high traffic at a certain time. Well, they can increase their buy or they can decrease it when the season's over, right? That's just the beauty of the whole thing. And, if you utilize this idea, you have a chance to, increase your own profitability by taking a look at this. I think the market opportunity, and now that I've been able to process it and say, gosh, how many companies out there are hosting all these websites, right? And they're not tied together. Oh my gosh, that's a huge opportunity. And then get their 365, and then get their security, and then cross-sell, upsell, CRM, Dynamics 365, SharePoint. So many different avenues to do that. All right, so what is hosting what is hosting your website in Microsoft Azure App Service? As I mentioned, a lot of us probably don't know it, but really it's an ability to help grow your business, by helping customers move, to the Azure stack. You can quickly build and manage and deploy your websites, much like a lot of the hosting providers out there, but it is now in Azure. And then you can, manage your customers using the same familiar tools, as opposed to, many of us have customers that, that span, hundreds and hundreds of different customers. How many different websites do they have? How many different hosting providers do they have? Wow, what a better way for you to capture that, bring them in. Now you become even more indispensable. You're not just a partner that does Office 365 and then just sells it and goes. You're the partner that's helping them do so much more, which is really, really important. So key benefits to hosting in Azure really are the high availability, fast response time, the latest security. When they're talking about security, I think that it'd be hard to compare any other company that provides the security and reliability that Azure provides, and you should be talking to your clients about this. We surpassed Amazon for uptime. And why is that? Because we have more data centers than than Amazon and Google combined, which is unbelievable. And then, the other thing, the benefits is running your website with the pay-as-you-go model, right? And we kind of talked about that, as well as, keeping in line with the budgets of your, current clients. So that's what you should be thinking to coincide with those customer psychological triggers and why they're looking to buy. All right, so, we're moving quickly through this because we still got some more stuff to go. But let's get into the project managed or packaged IPs. We always talk about this, right? We always talk about, okay, well, how does this really work for us? So I think the insights to maximize profitability, you need to make sure that you ensure that your capabilities are solid, that you understand how to migrate. One of the good ideas is to create a micro website on some hosting provider for this $10 a month, and then migrate it into Azure. So you have to really understand about that. Concentrate on sectors that have significant media content. Now, this is something to really think about here. Media content, what does that mean? Well, that means they're probably streaming something. They have people coming to look at a lot of different things. They're doing a lot of demos. Now, moving their content into Azure is where the big opportunity is. Moving a website that has 1 page or 2 pages, may not be the best use of your time, but that's really where the value is, and that's how you have to strategically think when you're going after your customers. And then lastly, insights to maximizing profitability really comes into build that recurring revenue model. And that coincides and ties back to the package of the week. Package of the week is going to help you create this particular product for this particular subset and then provide a high margin residual compensation model moving forward. Now, Eddie, let me ask you a question. When you're building your business right now, are you moving away from the project-based services, the hourly, to the recurring revenue model with a kind of an IP that is just for company built?
Absolutely. That's where the future is for us. And it makes a lot of sense in a lot of different ways because the revenue stream is more consistent when you have things coming in monthly. It pulls away from the project base where after a project, you're looking for more projects to keep you going. And the package IP is a great idea and something we've been doing for a long time. And we just keep kind of playing with what the package looks like. But what's nice about this is that you don't go to the marketplace with the same offer that the majority of other people are going to marketplace with. You go with something unique. It's unique for different reasons. What's being provided, some of the services that you as a company bring to the table that are different from other services that other people bring. And it's a really, again, in a tie to MCC, it's a way for you to differentiate yourself and to really make that connection with potential clients. What is it that you bring that nobody else does? And you kind of quantify that internally, and you package that and present that as a package to potential clients. And I think it's very effective because it prevents you from being commoditized and people picking it apart and saying, oh, well, I can get this for this price and this for this price. You're delivering a complete solution, and it's very hard for potential clients to pick that apart.
Yeah, that's great, and that actually gives me some thought. Your package, when you're putting it together, you may not put in there Office 365 and then a separate line item for EMS and a separate line item. You might want to just highlight the details of the package and have a set price for it, so that there isn't that. Would you agree that would probably be the better way of doing it?
Absolutely, and you
Okay.
can even call it a certain thing, like this is my Security Plus package, and you put whatever you're going to put in there, but you don't have to. You can talk about the features, but don't talk about the pieces, so to speak. Like, if I'm going to present you with a skateboard, I'm selling you a skateboard. I'm not selling you the deck and the wheels and all the little pieces that go with it. I'm selling you the skateboard. So kind of think of it like that. I know maybe, again, it sounds a little cheesy or a little weird, but that's really what we need to do. As partners, we need to do a better job of, selling the whole thing. So yes, I totally agree.
I actually like that analogy. Skateboard, a kid wants to buy a skateboard, you just don't sell him the deck. It's got to have some wheels, got to have some trucks on the thing, right?
Right.
Got to spice it up, put some rails on there, some stickers, right? But you got to sell the experience on the
Exactly.
skateboard, right? Excel, this skateboard, is going to be faster or more tricks. What does it have in it? Well, it's the package, and that's why it's going to do more. All right, let's get into partner resources. A couple things here. Cloud Enablement Desk, super important. We talked about it the last 3 weeks. Just want to reiterate it to you. The Cloud Enablement Desk is for partners that are looking, Brent, newer partners looking to build their competency strength, right? Looking to obtain their first silver cloud competency. And we want to help you out. You need to have your partner needs to have a Microsoft Partner ID. You must agree and sign conditions of satisfaction that you're actively trying to obtain your silver cloud competency, and you cannot have any prior Microsoft account, coverage, right, or relationship. So it's very simple. aka.ms/CED nominate click on that link, send it out, go ahead and fill out the form, and they're there ready to help you. It's a desk that's there for you to help you attain it, to walk you through it, navigate the partner ecosystem. Now, the next one is the Cloud Acceleration Desk. This is for partners who already have competencies currently right now, but they're looking to get other ones. And so this is awesome because this really helps accelerate, right? This also helps partners understand that there are other competencies that they could get. Maybe there's ones that they already qualify for, but they don't know about it. One of the most difficult things in the Microsoft ecosystem is that it's just so big, it's so giant, and we have so many different things that we throw out there and new announcements and new different things. So what's important is if you get and use a Cloud Acceleration Desk, they're going to help you. They're going to really help handhold you and to figure out what you need to move forward. The links are at the bottom. CAD nomination instead of CES nomination, and then email your completed form to napa@microsoft.com. Napa@microsoft.com, by the way, is unlimited pre-sale support. So if you have any deal that you're working on, maybe it's an Azure deal, Azure opportunity that you don't know, like, okay, well, how do I do this? You send it to them, you send them an email with all the details, they'll call you back, they'll schedule a call, and they'll walk you through the training, how to do it, what are the, how would you position it, and some sales and marketing tips. Napa is probably one of the best kept email addresses out there. So go ahead and make sure you write that one down. Napa@microsoft.com, unlimited pre-sale support for MPN IDs. All right. So here's some new announcements just came out, okay? So it's just getting out there. I would imagine most of the partners here are going to be the first ones to hear about it. And it's going to be the new partner resource. It's called Discover Hub. And the Discover Hub is really how to accelerate your pipeline to build quality and trust with Office 365 prospects by allowing the creation of a tailored branded microsite. So it's kind of cool. You can basically, address early common questions. You can pose 25 consumer-centric solution scenarios in there, and then analyze potential ROI. The real call to action here, I think it's actually really neat program. Go ahead and click on the link to sign up. Look through it. If you really want to, go for it and do it, I would advise that it's a great program. I get about, 25 updates that come out, and I try to source the ones that are really good for you. And then another thing is creating an online marketplace for CSP offerings. I think a lot of us have been wondering about, okay, how do we do this? We're tied to this one disty or this other disty or this other distributor, and we don't know, we have to use there. But now we can actually help you create your own cloud marketplace for CSP offerings. And basically what we do is the CSP partner admins the partner center, and then you can display a CSP customer storefront for your clients to come and buy the stuff that you're selling. So you could put your packages on that. And I think that is important because it automatically will order it and get it through the system. Call to action, real simple, another link, CSP Customer Storefront Builder Quick Start Guide. Go ahead and click on that. That's another one that I think is important enough to take a look at and see. I mean, let me ask you this, Eddie. If you had the opportunity to build your own cloud marketplace, something that would be customer facing, would you feel that would be something that you'd like to investigate?
Absolutely. I'm almost ready to take my microphone off and start doing it right now. So kind of tempting me right now. But yeah, absolutely. It's just another way to get out there, to brand yourself as, in a different way. And it's just more exposure. I think it's fantastic. And literally, I'm trying to sit in this seat long enough to finish out our call today because I actually want to go and try this out. So,
all right, I love it. I love it. All right, partner questions. We have two of our favorite people here, Dave Seibert and Eric Klaus. I have a picture of them. Hey guys, how you doing? Do we have any questions from the? No questions. Okay. Okay, no questions. All right. Well, any questions, guys? Go ahead and oh, you have one question. Yes. That's a great question. Sam from Accumore is actually in the audience today, and he asked the question was, where do we get this deck? I'll tell you right now, aka.ms/PLG Power. PLG Power. That's where all the PowerPoints are. It's where every PowerPoint that I produce and create, I put there. I'm going to start putting these PowerPoint calls there, so I'll have all the links for you. Click on it. Sam just found it. He gave me the thumbs up. So we look forward to seeing you guys get on that too. All right, some frequently asked questions. So, how can I get, we do this SBA webinar broadcast, and a lot of partners are asking, well, how do I get on that broadcast? How do I get on a broadcast where the SBA and Microsoft is doing a co-marketing agreement where we're seeing anywhere between 300 and 600 attendees? And how do I use that? And I'll tell you, the way to get on this SBA broadcast is pretty simple. One, you have to be in Project LeadGen. You have to be a producing Project LeadGen MCC partner. You need to have several associations you're working with, and you have to show some impact that you've been able to utilize the program correctly. When that happens, we're looking for that the good partner that really understands a specific technology, and we want you to present on it. Next month, we're doing Michelle Hollis from 6th Street Consulting talking about SharePoint, right? Last month, we did Brian Inuma. We talked about how to calculate ROI. And Eddie, let me ask you this. You were the very first one. Eddie, what type of, what were your thoughts on that broadcast? And just give me your thoughts on that and, impact, or what were you thinking about it?
Yeah, well, it was a great experience. I'm much more comfortable now than I was back then, but we did it. We got through it. It was really it was a lot of fun. It's impactful because again, it's my message. I think we had maybe like 175 viewers for that first one, and it's only been growing since. Yep. But those are people that how long would it take me normally to reach out to 175 potential clients? And the impact of that is tremendous. And it was genuine opportunity. There was a lot of support, and a lot of support came from other partners who weren't in front of the camera that day, who weren't actually going to directly benefit from that. But they came out and they showed their support to me and to Sherman and to this whole project. And that makes a difference. You have to be out there in this community. Sherman preaches the give first mentality, and I couldn't agree with you more. You got to give something if you want to get something. Don't come with your handout. And I don't want to, and I don't want to sound condescending, but really, if you put into this whole project, Project LeadGen and MCC, you definitely will get out of it. But you have to give and support your fellow partners in the group, and I guarantee you that you'll see results. That's one big takeaway that I had from this, is that there's just a tremendous amount of support before, during, and after that webinar, and it continues today. And so if you have the opportunity to engage, I definitely recommend it.
Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
So the next one is, can I come on the show and market my product to the partners? I've been getting a lot of requests lately from partners that are saying, yeah, well, hey, we have this we have this great thing, and I want to get out there. I want to give it to my partners. And what I'd like to say is, and I think Eddie can attest to this, I am a supportive, I'm your biggest champion. I want you to be successful. I want you to talk about this. However, two things. I think the rule is, one, will it actually be impactful for partners? Will they like to see it and hear about it, and will it be helpful, and will it be something that they can use, to benefit them, not just benefit the partner who's trying to put their project out. And number two, back to the SBA thing, you need to be involved. You need to be coming to these calls. You need to be helping, promote Project LeadGen and MCC, and with the other partners and bringing people in. For the SBA telecasts, I actually start planning FY17. I got 12 to plan, so I actually need submissions from partners. I need, if you want to be on it. Eddie's own SBA webinar has gotten over 600 views since we initially put it out. Eric's Klaus's has had some around 750. It's just been amazing. They're just getting bigger and bigger, and now we're bringing in more partners. So we definitely, it's very impactful. Plus, you can then take that media and put it on your website. You can take that media and send it to your clients. If you're bidding against a project, or something that you're working on, what better way to say that, hey, I spoke on the SBA Microsoft Tech Tips webinar series, right? SBA thought enough about me. Microsoft thinks enough about me. Now, does the other competition have that same thing? No, it doesn't. So it's an opportunity I want to support. So getting back to will I let partners on to do that? I will. I'll support you. we just have to, adhere to a couple things, right? I want to make sure that we give something to the partners here. We are going to have some vendors on, but the criteria is that they bring something to give away. And I kind of set a top bar around $500 for them to bring on to send, to give away to partners. So, start bringing more people to it, and it'd be great. All right, Eddie, let me ask you this. Is MCC all about just doing events?
No, absolutely not. I think that if you haven't kind of read between the lines of what I've been saying, the real key here is getting to know your partners and getting to work with them. There's a lot of information out in the Microsoft ecosystem. Sometimes it's difficult to digest that all yourself. And you'll hear something and you'll ask yourself, is that really what I heard? Is that how it works? But you have this group of people that you can reach out to. And that's been, for me, that's probably been the biggest thing. I mean, the business is great, the additional business, the opportunities, that's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but all of that exists as a result of building better relationships with the partners and the other people in this ecosystem. And I can tell you that I think it's mutual. I think if you got any one of those guys in here and sat down and asked them the same question, I think you'd get a very similar response. And that's what makes this work, because we're working for each other. And that's the real power of MCC, is that when you start working just for yourself and you have a bunch of people working together and for one another, and that makes all the difference in the world.
That's great. Eddie, let me ask you this. Are there enough associations to go around? I get that question all the time. Oh, well, it must be all gone. Is there enough?
Okay, so this is my favorite thing. I'm going to lean in so I'm serious now. I think there are plenty of associations to go around. Quite frankly, I think there's plenty of business to go around for all of us. And I think our goal here, really as partners, is to realize, to look and challenge ourselves to figure out how we can work together to capture all of it. There's plenty for Sam here in the audience. There's plenty for everybody on this call, and even more. And sometimes we're missing opportunities because we're not working together enough. I think we can actually have a better capture rate, more penetration in the marketplace, if we figure out how we can collectively work together and utilize each other's strengths and expertise to really just own this marketplace. So that's my answer to that. There's plenty to go around.
All right. The last one was, what does just do it mean? And I'll tell you, what just do it means is just do it. I mean, there's really no other definition. Just start selling and marketing. Get yourself out there. Wake up every day. Tell yourself, I'm going to be remarkable today. I'm going to be better, faster, quicker than my competition, better than everybody out there. You can do it. And that's the thing, is you have to let yourself know that you can do it. So just do it. That's what you need to focus on. All right, let's move into Project LeadGen, next steps. Hey, PLG steps, Project LeadGen. If you haven't signed up and you're hearing about all PLG, you're new to the call, click on this link here, ready to go. It's 5 modules, training modules. If you haven't viewed them all, view them. It's 27 or 47 minutes of your time. You don't have to do all of the action items, but really do it and start sending out. We need to see more invitations to influencers, so I can send out a follow-up email. We need to see more of those. So start getting them out. CC myself, CC LeadGen, who's our partner up in Washington. Let us help you. Get into those associations. So you can go ahead and do that. You know about the call here today, but those are the benefits and what you need to do. All right, in summary, okay, testimonials, very, very important. I want to see a testimonial from you that talks about what you think about Project LeadGen. Do it on video, and then I will send you one back. Okay, I'll spend the time if you spend the time. Be happy to do that for you. Next is package of the week, right? We talked about creating something different. Then we went into the Azure app service that a lot of us probably didn't really know about, right? And then we talked about a lot of these great questions. Then we had Eddie on here talking about, how to be a successful partner. And we're really invested in helping you out. So moving forward, next week will be at 1 p.m. And we have a special guest next week, and that's going to be, let me back up before we get to the special guest next week. This is Eddie Bader's contact information. You can always call Eddie. He's always available for you. He's, just probably one of the best, most solid people that I know, and I'm really happy to have him on here. So next Monday, 1 to 2, if you're in the Southern California region, come on down to the Irvine Microsoft Technology Center. What we want to do is actually create more of a networking environment as well. We've got about 25 seats. Come on down. I want to be able to work with you afterwards too. Talk to you about if you have any problems, questions, answers. I'm there for you. So then coming up next week, great, my good friend Sam Agarwal from Accumore. He has done some incredible stuff. Several years ago, he was one of the very first CSP providers in the country. And that's along with the Ingrams and the Synex and Tech Data. Think about that. He was able to, create relationships, and we're going to have him on. We're going to be asking him all these questions about how he navigates Microsoft. So from the Microsoft Technology Centers, and myself included, Sherman Crancer, I want to say thanks so much for coming today. We have literally hit this on the hour. I want to say thanks so much. If you need anything here, the call, you have we'll check your updates. So we're going to send a new update for next Monday where the link will be on there. And then the PowerPoints is on there, PLG Power. Thank you so much and have a great day today. Just do it.